No, that she's already on bond with us, right?
Okay, you're right. Or a similar matter.
June 16th, the domestic violence, and then what's happening on that one? I think that's the one that's coming back.
Yeah, I believe it is, Your Honor.
Because she was bound over. It's on the record.
Was that a felony? Your Honor?
Wait a minute, and then she has something from August 10th. Ask more about the August 10th one also, please. Okay, we're going on the record in the matter of the state of Michigan versus Joe Parsons, 232001. And Detective Sergeant, your name for the record, please.
Detective Sergeant Ken Grote.
All right, please raise your right hand.
I don't have to swear to this one, Your Honor.
Oh, yeah, no, you're correct, sorry. All right, and so, counsel, your appearance, please.
John Gold, P. 30758 on behalf of Ms. Parsons, for the purpose of this, investigation.
All right, Ms. Parsons, your name, please.
Jill Marie Parsons.
Okay, and counsel, as to the arraignment.
She's charged with domestic violence, second offense, Your Honor. It's a state case. I have discussed this matter with her. She will stand mute to the charge, waive the formal reading of those charges, and ask the plea of not guilty be entered on her case.
Court will waive the formal reading, enter plea of not guilty for purposes of the arraignment, and we will schedule this matter for a pre-trial on September 7th. As Ms. Parsons already has another matter with us on that date, and that is scheduled for (10:15), so we'll keep this the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, and
She didn't have anything for August 10th.
maybe they're waiting for the warrant to come back. Okay, and so, Mr. Gopal?
Your Honor, it's my understanding that this was a domestic violence, that she does have a similar matter pending as the court has indicated, and that this is scheduled for with the same alleged victim. It's also my understanding, Your Honor, that there was bond conditions, and Ms. Parsons was allowed to stay in the marital home since that's where the children were, and that Mr. Parsons had other means of where to stay. This incident allegedly occurred at the home. And we're asking that the bond that she's presently under be continued. There's allegations, obviously they're very serious, but which of course she denies having occurred. And as we all know, they're innocent until proven guilty. And I only say that because there are circumstances that work together. They are going through obviously some very trying times, trying to work out their relationship. With that said, Your Honor, we're asking that the bond, and I don't know what those bond was, be continued and to continue those under those circumstances.
Okay. And Detective Sergeant Grote, Esteban.
Your Honor, it's our understanding the victim in the case resides in South Rockwood in a trailer. He only stays sometimes on the 2nd Street house. Ms. Parson, I believe, has some addiction problems that she probably needs to work on. A low cash bond is fine with us. I don't know if the victim in the case was a little hesitant on following through with charges, but then he changed his mind and decided to follow through with charges.
Okay, Ms. Parsons, you are currently out on bond in this court for a domestic violence, correct?
Correct. Yes,
And who is the complaining witness in that matter?
my husband.
The same individual that's the complaining witness in this matter?
Yes. And he's not pressing charges in the first matter either.
Ma'am,
Yes.
we're not at that point. As of
Okay.
now, those charges are pending,
Okay.
and you also were bound over to the Third Circuit Court for felony possession charges, which apparently were resolved, and you're on 3 years probation, correct?
Correct.
And, thank you, what happened in E-course?
I'm not sure. The what?
Back in April.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Okay, so your matter. How often does Mr. Parsons stay at the home on Second Street?
He's not supposed to be staying there as of right now
Why not?
because of our first domestic. I'm supposed to be there with the kids. He's staying at our trailer in South Rockwood.
Ma'am, that was not my question.
Oh,
My
okay.
question to you was, how often does he stay at the home on Second Street?
Every night.
Okay. And how old is your daughter Ava?
16.
And it's alleged in both cases, so the June 16th matter that's coming back September 7th, that's also a second offense notice, and since that matter hasn't been concluded, this one is a second offense.
Your Honor, I saw that in reviewing the file, and it indicated it appears that you did have a domestic out of the 33rd, but the date, and I'm sure it was a misprint, said October of 23.
No, I showed 2013 on both of these.
Oh, okay, the document I did see showed that.
Well, hold on, let me look.
I understand, Your Honor, and I knew there was one out of turn. It's on the last page there.
Ma'am, if you were to test what's in your system,
Nothing right now.
what's that?
Nothing right now.
Okay, well.
I can
yesterday,
tell
the day
you there's
before.
nothing in my system.
And then this is, you also have a chart, are you currently on probate? No. What happened on your smuggling charge? You're furnishing contraband prisoners.
I don't know what that one is. When was the date on that one?
It appears, so it occurred in 2014, but it appears as though it wasn't resolved until 2021.
I have no idea.
Do you work, ma'am?
For my husband's company,
Which is what kind of company? I don't know what that is.
Terry work at his industrial maintenance company.
Then why did you answer this document that you do not have a job?
Cause I don't right now. I haven't been working for him for the last 2 weeks.
Did, Okay, I think I just asked your client if she works,
Correct,
and she said yes,
yes, but
but here she answered no.
I understand that.
On this document that says the felony to intentionally submit false information to a court.
She indicated that because, Your Honor, she hasn't been working there for the last couple of weeks, as she just indicated. So therefore.
So then she's
I
not
guess-
working,
I guess in her mind, she's not working at this point in time.
but
Yes,
she answered yes that she was.
I understand that, Your Honor, it was probably a mistake on her. Not any attempt to defraud the court. We're just talking about who's paying who's working for her husband's company.
And ma'am, the detective mentioned something about eviction or housing.
No, I don't think so.
Told her that Matt. living there.
Oh, that Matt's not living at the house, no. My husband's not living at the house right now,
He just stays there every night.
pretty much. I know.
I guess that would be a matter of interpretation, but that sounds to me as though he lives there, if he stays there every
Well,
night.
I agree, Your Honor. However, I think that what she indicated was that when she was here on the previous domestic, there was to be no contact, obviously. And because she was the primary caretaker for the children and he had another place to go, she was allowed to stay in the marital home while he was residing in, it's Rockwood. He's been showing up there and staying at the home as she's indicated, but as far as eviction is concerned, I don't think that was ever mentioned. Only that he's not supposed to be there, but she's the one that's under charges. So he's been visiting, and I was reading the report, was visiting with the child or one of the children.
Okay, but the order indicates for Ms. Parsons to not have or cause any third party to have any direct or indirect contact with the following person, that being Matthew Wayne Parsons. And she was not to enter the home on Second Street. The bond condition is, man, you're not even allowed to be at the home.
Correct. I don't have anywhere else to go.
Man, the court order from the reigning judicial officer, which was not this court, it appears to have been Magistrate Boyer. You were given a $10,000 personal bond and you were instructed not to return to the home on Second Street.
Correct.
Yet you went back to the home on Second Street and that's where you've been living.
Right.
And you have a pending domestic violence second offense charge that you're out on bond for. And now you have the exact same charge.
Correct. I know.
What is it you know?
It's messed up. And this whole situation's messed up. I should at least be able to go in the home with my children. He doesn't have any children that live with us. I should at least be in the home with our children. So, I mean, he's got plenty of places to go. He can stay at our shop, he can stay at our boat, at our trailer, he can stay everywhere, and I've got nowhere else to go with our children. I should be able to be in the home with the children. He's the source of our income.
Excuse me, why is it that you think you should be in the home with the children?
Because I have nowhere else to go with the children. He's got multiple places to go by himself. He's the source of our income. He's the owner of the company that I work for. He's the source of the income. He's got multiple places he can go stay. He's got our trailer, our boat. He's got our shop that he can go stay at. I can't take the children there, whether, I can't take them there when they go back to school and stuff. I can't be living in a trailer with them or at our boat with them. He can do all that.
Except I believe it's alleged that the children are home when these incidents occur, correct?
No, they were not home.
No, for any of
The
these
first
alleged
incident,
incidents.
my first incident, my daughter was at home. The second incident, none of them were home.
And both incidents alleged items being thrown at Mr. Parsons.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Well, You also seem to have something pending out of the 25th District Court, or at least a warrant pending, charges pending. And then also, August 10th of this year, were you arrested for drugs, ma'am?
It was a prescription that I didn't have in a prescription bottle.
The case is still pending, Your Honor.
Okay, so ma'am, you were arrested yet again on something else.
Yes.
Okay, well, it seems as though you have a hard time understanding the court orders. Given the fact that you are currently on probation for felony possession charges downtown that you were bound over for from this court. The fact that you are currently out on bond on charges that are exactly the same charges that you're currently in front of this court for. There is a pending charge apparently for felony drugs. You were ordered not to have any contact with Mr. Parsons, nor to return to the home. And you just had the mindset of, oh, well, I have nowhere else to go, so I'm going to disregard the court order and I'm going to return to the home.
No, ma'am, I don't
The
think
court
that.
Well, ma'am, your actions would suggest differently as well as what your statement was. The court's going to indicate.
Sorry.
A $25,000 10% bond with the following bond conditions. The court's going to also indicate another basis for that bond is for the protection of Mr. Parsons and society. You are not to have any contact with Matthew Parsons. That's phone contact, direct contact, social media, third party, anything of the like.
Okay.
You're not to enter the premises on 2nd Street.
Okay.
With the exception of one visit to obtain personal belongings accompanied by a police officer. So what that means, ma'am, what that means is you go to the police department, then you go to the home with an officer. You don't go to the home and then wait for an officer to arrive.
Okay.
Am I keeping you up?
No.
You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed. You're not to have any access or possession of any firearms and or any weapons. And you're also to have a GPS tethered through the Wayne County Jail. Therefore, if you go to the home on 2nd Street, which will be an exclusion zone, you will be arrested, ma'am.
Okay.
You keep saying okay, but you're continuously violating the court's orders. You've been violating the bond order.
Well, I'm gonna have a feather on, so I'm not gonna be able to violate.
Do not interrupt me, please.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
You've been violating the court's bond order. It appears to be consistently since you were arraigned in June.
Hey.
Just because you had nowhere else to go. So, oh wow, I'm just going to stay here anyway, despite the court telling me no. And the court's going to also indicate you to participate in random drug and alcohol testing in the event you postpone.
I'm not gonna be able to postpone.
What's that, ma'am?
I was just saying I'm not gonna be able to postpone.
Okay. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, I will answer this question. I do understand court orders, court orders. I wasn't here for the original arraignment. But if the husband, Mr. Parsons, agrees that he would give her custody for the duration of the marital home, then would she be allowed to return there with his understanding that that's where she will be and he has other places to stay. I understand what the court is saying.
At this point, counsel,
But
that's something we can readdress on September 7th potentially, but,
it appears to me, Your Honor, if I may, that, and I understand the court's orders, but Mr. Parsons also should be held accountable. I understand he's the victim, don't get me wrong, and we go through this all the time. And I, again, was not here presently at the first time, but normally,
neither was I, it was in our county.
I understand, Your Honor. Normally, that would have been, under those circumstances, no assaultive conduct. She would be allowed, I mean, from what I'm getting from this situation, she has children. The only place that she can be is at this marital home. The children, and I don't know if they have children together or but based on the age and their length of marriage, I have a feeling that at least the daughter is her child. I could be wrong. And it should be one of no assaultive conduct. I'm only asking that she be allowed to go there and just don't assault her husband. Now, I know this is a second one with a second allegation. But again, we are innocent until proven guilty, as the court is, well aware. And I would only ask that it be no assaultive conduct, so she has some place to go if she's able to make this fine.
Ms. Parsons, who's the complaining witness in the matter on your first domestic violence?
My
Ms.
husband,
Parsons?
yes,
Counsel, I understand that your client's innocent until proven guilty. However, the court, in taking into consideration the totality of the circumstances, with now 2 domestic violence second offense charges, I have zero confidence that your client will not be assaultive. Zero confidence. Further, while you acknowledge that Mr. Parsons is the victim in this matter, you also indicate that he has some accountability here as well. I will note that if it were reversed and Mr. Parsons were in custody and Ms. Parsons were not, I don't know that there would necessarily be the same school of thought.
well,
Yes, ma'am.
the reason why it's not vice versa is because I didn't call the police first. Cause I didn't call him on him. I got a shiner too on my side of my eye, but I didn't call him on him.
And Your Honor, you indicated they might be reversed. I don't know, but I would also be making the same argument if those circumstances were similar. No assaultive conduct. Again, neither of us were at the first one. We're now here at the second one.
I agree. It will also indicate that in both reports, it's alleged that there were items and objects that were also hurled at Mr. Parsons, and not just Ms. Parsons physically touching him. I should say not only her physically touching him.
And I think that's the first report, but I did review this report, which she does.
Yes. Ms. Parsons was informed specifically not to return to the home on 2nd Street. She didn't ask for a modification of bond. She didn't ask for anything. Quite frankly, she failed to appear on June 29th when she should have been present for her pretrial. And Ms. Parsons has exhibited thus far a complete and total disregard for court orders.
And again, Your Honor, I wasn't present on either of those occasions. I'm just bringing this to the court's attention.
No, I agree. I agree.
And I would have been arguing back the first time for no assaultive conduct.
Correct. Although I don't know that Ms. Parsons is able to control her emotions enough to follow no assaultive contact. She can't even follow the court order to not return to the home where she's continuously resided since
And Your
because she
Honor,
was
I,
released from custody the first time.
I'm not going to continue the argument. I understand the court's position. There's a difference between returning to the home to take care of the children, to take care of the family, as opposed to not controlling her aggressively.
I understand that, but look what she's charged with again.
I understand, Your Honor.
So the court's order is what is its order. And, ma'am, you're not to call him from jail, you're not to call him on the phone, you're not to have anybody else contact him.
Okay,
Is that clear?
yes,
Your Honor, I believe that because I'm just bringing this to the court's attention, if he's the sole provider, excuse me, then, and he's got the children there, he's gonna make sure that she's not gonna be there. However, I believe that since he has control of the purse strings and you're asking for a bond, she should at least be able to contact him or through somebody to see what about bond. You've ordered issued 25,000, 10%, which means she has to come up with, you said 25,000, correct, or 2,500?
25,000, 10%.
So she needs $2,500. So I think that she should at least be able to contact him either directly or indirectly to find out if he's going to be able to post bond or provide her with some money to post bond.
First of all, I am not going to allow her to contact him directly,
Right.
because if I were to allow her to contact him directly and discuss only bond, I have zero confidence that she's going to follow this court's order. Second of all, you are wanting this court to allow her to contact the victim in this matter, the victim in 2 cases, who is also a victim in another matter, to post her bond.
Or provide it. She said she works for the family company. She hasn't worked in a couple of weeks. She therefore has no income that has come in, so she can post bond. Yes, I am asking that.
Well, she should maybe be able to contact some other family members. She's not, there's no contact with Mr. Parsons.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Parsons.
Off the record.